And with all due respect to you, most agencies suck. My experience with agencies and a lot of people's experience with agencies is they oversell and underdeliver. I've got 99 problems, but your shit ain't one, right? I've got a list of 99 things that I have to do every single day. You understand their business because you're in their business, and that's really rare. So getting people to buy a ticket, get in the car, walk through the door is one of the biggest unknowns and one of the biggest cost centers. I wanted to help operators solve the marketing problem. So we started running these marketing masterclasses. And that's why I first reached out to you. Is like, what can you teach our community about marketing? The ability to take that and turn it into a product or a service and then deliver that back to the market when you've done it yourself is really rare. Yeah, I'm really impressed with what you guys are doing. The product has to deliver value. It has to solve a problem. And so the thing that we're going through right now is really understanding the problems the market has, which I think I knew going into it because of all the research that we've done and the events that I've run. But what are the solutions? So, for example, we started out with these marketing masterclasses because we know, as I'm sure, and marketing is one of the biggest challenges, right? You run an agency, and so getting people to buy a ticket, get in the car, walk through the door is one of the biggest unknowns and one of the biggest cost centers. And so I wanted to help operators solve the marketing problem. So we started running these marketing masterclasses. And that's why I first reached out to you. Is like, what can you teach our community about marketing? And so we've done classes on local SEO and how to build personas so you know who you're marketing to, and paid digital and viral videos and all of this stuff. And in doing those masterclasses and kind of moderating them, I realized that nobody's going to learn how to do all this shit. It's too hard. There's too many things. You got to be an expert in everything. And with all due respect to you, most agencies suck. My experience with agencies and a lot of people's experience with agencies is they oversell and underdeliver over time, right? The owner comes in, they give you a big wow, they say this. The agency business model is a challenging business model, just as location-based entertainment is. And so there's a bit of a misfit. If you're not doing enough top-line revenue, you almost can't afford to hire a full-service agency. So you have to do some of this yourself. And so right now we're trying to figure out how do we put together almost like a light done-for-you program for marketing for operators where we can just take the meta ads part and we can make it really simple. And how do you just do meta ads for dummies? So the challenge of this, how do we help them grow their business? How do we help them save money? How do we make them make more money? Because if they do that, they live better lives, they can expand their businesses, and the whole industry grows. And
to add to what you mentioned about the challenges with agencies, it's so hard to find the agency that specializes in your niche. Because there is so many generalists who will take any account. You do in plumbing, we'll do plumbing for you. You do in cleaning, we'll do cleaning. You an attorney, we'll try to do attorney marketing for you. But in reality, you can know basics how to do marketing. But then without inside knowledge, it's so much harder to deliver the results. Because yes, you can have a general understanding of how to organize ads. You need to do Facebook ads and Google ads and this and that. But then what is specifics? What works? What challenges do we have in our industry, compared to other industry?
Yeah. And look, and I've played the chief marketing officer of almost every organization I've ever been in. So my background is, if I had to admit it, I'd say I'm a marketer by trade. And one of the challenges is speaking the language of your customer, right? Because if you want to build trust with a customer base, you have to understand the persona, who are you speaking to, and how do you talk to them in a way that resonates with them? How do you deliver images to them in a way that resonates them? What's the messaging? And so if you're selling to lawyers and people with clogged drains and bus drivers, and you can't be a master of all of those things. It's just it's a recipe for disaster and wasted money. And so I totally agree with you, is that endemic knowledge of a market is what's required to be effective if you don't have huge budget to just experiment and trial and error and learn. And if you're a big company, you can burn millions of dollars A/B testing every concept, from day one. But if you're a small business owner, you don't have the time.
Yeah. I can tell you what happens with us and why people like to work with us. Because I test everything at my locations first. I want it to be progressing. I want to be successful. And so I need to test. I have an idea and I think it's going to be moving the needle. And I try it first at my location. And when I see it works, well, guess what happens? We have a calls with our customers. I'm like, listen, I just tested something. You got to test it. It works really well for me. And this is why people like to work with us from our industry, because they are, you guys actually give us advice what really works in today's market.
Yeah, and you understand their business, right? You understand their business because you're in their business, and that's really rare. There's very few companies that come from within the industry. Everybody wants to share their expertise as a thought leader, but the ability to take that and turn it into a product or a service and then deliver that back to the market when you've done it yourself is really rare. Yeah, I'm really impressed with what you guys are doing.
I'm writing a book right now, and one of other agency owners looked at it, and he's like, "You spilling all secrets, all details, how you doing it? Somebody can take the book and implement it by themselves. Why are you doing it?" And the funny thing is, I wouldn't mind if somebody implements it by themselves, because what happened, and like, why would they do it? First, maybe they don't have enough funds to hire us. But guess what? If they're going to implement everything I'm teaching in a book, they're going to get to this earlier or later. They're going to be able to afford services of our company. And so if they're going to get to this level, who they're going to reach out to? Another thing that I'm trying to explain to people, I really like to work with people who understand what I am doing. Because if you understand how much it takes to do proper marketing, you will value what we provide. Because a lot of times when we have problems with clients and churn, is people who don't understand marketing. And this is the people who has so high expectations. They want results immediately, like yesterday, when in reality it takes time and energy. And so people who would take our blueprint and they would implement themselves, they're going to say, now I understand, I see the value. And now when they reach out to you and they want you to implement because they want to focus their energy and time on growing their business instead of spending all their time on marketing.
There's a great song by Jay-Z. It's called 99 Problems and a Bitch Ain't One. And I change it as an FEC owner or a location-based entertainment attraction owner, I've got 99 problems, but your shit ain't one, right? I've got a list of 99 things that I have to do every single day. I got to manage insurance and staff and people calling in sick and cleaning the bathrooms and fixing broken stuff. And I've got kids and this and that. And so if I can take one big thing of that and move it off on my plate to somebody that I trust, that I know is going to deliver a value and deliver a result, I can focus my attention on one of those other 98 problems. And unfortunately for a small business owner, you got to wear a lot of freaking hats, man.